Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 265 of a Wrestling Gal podcast, providing you with the female perspective on all things wrestling. Join me, your host and wrestling enthusiast, Ella J. As today, I am joined by the submission queen, Persia Pierce. Now let's chat. Hello, everybody. Today I am joined by professional wrestling star Persia Pierce. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's a good Friday. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic to be chatting with you. It's a little bit rainy outside where I am, I must say, so it's like meh. But I'm super excited to talk with you because I wanted to start off acknowledging the fact that we have a couple similarities here. One, we're both 97 babies, and two,
Really?
we're both Scorpios, Persia. So like, I
Wait,
feel
when's
like
your birthday?
October 26th, to be fair.
Okay.
I was born 3 weeks early. I would have been born on November 18th, so I still would have been a Scorpio. But we're pretty similar in that vein. So I love how we're already starting off here.
See, I already feel the energy, that Scorpio energy.
Exactly. I mean, so I just want to talk about our childhoods for a minute, us being like virtually the same. What was your favorite like television shows or movies growing up?
I was definitely into cartoons like Ed, Edd and Eddie, who was one of mine. Even though at the same time, I barely watched TV because I was always outside. I've always been more into nature. I climb trees, I jump out of trees, I go in the woods, stuff like that.
Go ahead.
As far as movies, I was always into comedy. Like one of my favorites was What About Bob?
It sounds like a comedy. I'm really one who's really into comedies too. And I mean, that goes along with Ed, Edd and Eddie. See, I was going to ask, were you team Disney or team Nickelodeon? But it seems like you might be team Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
Now, there was definitely a lot of shows on there growing up. I mean, like there was like Camp Lazlo. I'm pretty sure Totally Spies was on Cartoon Network too as well. That was one. Like, what other cartoons did you enjoy growing up? I mean, I know you said you were outside a lot. We'll get to that in a moment. But like, what would be on your docket?
Let's see. Cat and Dog. There was the Powerpuff Girls. There was Dexter's Laboratory. Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah. Classic staples of like 2000s and early 2010s childhood staples. Yes. And I feel like a really underappreciated era of time.
Oh yeah, I don't even know what they play nowadays.
I don't know either. I tuned out after at least out of Cartoon Network, probably after like 2013 maybe. And then like Disney, I kind of tuned out after 2018 or 2015, I should say. Then again, like that's not our demographic anymore. Like once you're like 17, 18 years old,
Right.
I mean, especially too with that era too. You mentioned you enjoy nature too. Would you say you're like an adventurous person in general?
Oh, definitely.
So what has been like the most adventurous or daring thing that you've like done outside before?
I mean, I've done hiking, I've done whitewater rafting, which I thought that my life was going to end at one point because I got bumped out of the boat and there was like a whirlpool and I was holding on to like the rope that's on the side for like dear life. And this was when I was in high school. So like I'm holding on and then this other lady was like, no. And they try to help me up, and then my leg gets scraped by the rocks over right there. So
oh my God. Well, I'm so glad that you survived. See, I've only been like kayaking once. That just terrifies me. Like water, like deep water. Then again, okay, so how deep was the water? Obviously, if there's a whirlpool, I feel like it had to have been fairly deep.
Oh yeah, because they tell you to like roll up to a ball if you ever get caught in one. I was like, rather just not getting one in general.
Yeah, and that's why I don't do deep water, really. That's like an instance like that is like a big fear of mine. But I mean, yeah, we're glad you survived and that you're here with us today. Oh my gosh.
Cool.
Have you obviously, I mean, you've traveled across everywhere. What has been the most like interesting place that you think that you've traveled to before?
mm, I don't know the name of the town, but it's somewhere in California. It's like a really old town. I went there when I was like 13 because I have family out in California. So I don't know the name, but it's fascinating to see any like historic. So but I went to like the San Francisco area. The beach is definitely really cold compared to Florida.
Really?
Yeah, it was in August. That's the thing. I put my foot in the water. It was so cold. I did not want to go in.
Huh, interesting. I find that I feel like there's a lot of like that there would be a lot of beach that the beaches would be similar between then again, what do I know? I haven't been to California or Florida. So what do I know? Interesting. But I feel like another aspect we definitely have in common, like we said at the beginning of this, was definitely that we're both Scorpios. So is there a particular aspect or trait you really feel reigns true for you of Scorpio energy?
Definitely, don't mess with us. Like we're nice people in general, which people mistake that because they think like, oh, they're all about revenge. It's like, yeah, only if like you do us wrong.
Only if you do us dirty. PC, I feel like there's so many like misconceptions about us. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
especially too, I mean, that's definitely one of them. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I feel like we've all been vengeful at one point too. But is there one in particular for you that like really stands out as like a misconception or feeling misunderstood as a Scorpio?
They just think we're bad in general. They think like they hear, oh, you're a Scorpio. It's like, oh no, we can't be near y'all. It's like, what?
See, I feel that way about a lot of Geminis though. Maybe that's just the Scorpio in me or like personal experience with them.
Not. It's Gemini's and Capricorns. For some reason, I have bad relations with them.
Me with Geminis. So I completely understand that. I'm so sorry to my Geminis out there. There's a lot of you that I love, but it's been the few bad eggs that have ruined it.
Yeah, definitely. It's not every Gemini
No,
or not every Capricorn, but the ones we've dealt with.
I know. Would you say you're really into astrology too, as well, along those same lines?
Like, I love studying them. Like, I feel like it's cool, but I'm not going to be crazy
Yeah.
about it. I'm not going to like go in someone's dating profile and be like, oh, Aquarius? Nope. I, you know, I'm not that bad.
Yeah, I will say like I definitely find it interesting that like I'll look at somebody's sign and like I know my horoscope and like know my whole birth chart and all of that, but I don't like psychoanalyze a person completely just for their zodiac sign. But I know a lot of people who do.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole thing too. And I mean you're also very into music as well. I know you sing a little bit. I'm not going to make you sing, I promise. But
Oh, thank you.
what would you say is your go-to karaoke song?
um, I don't know if you know like rock, like alternative rock, but any song from Evanescence, I
Yeah.
will sing all day.
Is there a certain one in particular, like vocally, that
Um,
you feel like you perform best at?
Bring Me to Life or My Immortal, or the one song that's not a lot of people know, it's Bleed, I Must Be Dreaming.
Hmm.
I really like that song. So
I mean, it's a good range of songs there too. That was also again like part of childhood growing up. I mean, everybody I feel like went through like the My Immortal and all of that phase too.
yes.
How I feel like it's also a bit emo. Would you describe? I mean, I feel like it kind of is. Like I don't
In
it's
a
like on
way,
that
yeah.
border of stuff, you know?
It's like, I guess you want to call it typical emo. Listen to
Yeah.
Evanescence, 3 Days Grace, Breaking Benjamin, Seether. I went through that phase mainly middle school, partially high school.
Mhm.
So
I mean, when you were in high school, middle school, even elementary school, maybe what was your childhood career aspirations? Like, what did you envision yourself being when you grew up?
So in elementary school, I actually saw myself being a singer just
Okay.
because when I was 7, Avril Lavigne was like my biggest inspiration. I actually wanted to be just like her. It's why I learned how to ride a skateboard. So, um, but in middle school, that's when my gym coach actually got me to watch WWE. And that was the era where like CM Punk versus John Cena. And then I fell in love. And ever since middle school, I want to do wrestling.
I know CM Punk and Jeff Hardy was the first match I ever saw when like Jeff was just about to leave. So CM Punk is definitely in my first memories of wrestling. And I was going to bring this up later, but since you brought it up now, what are your thoughts now that he's back in professional wrestling? I'm sure you're super thrilled.
Oh, yeah, just like everyone. And just to see the response that he gets, it's goosebumps.
That pop he got in I mean, we all knew he was coming out, but him opening that show in Chicago and like literally just taking in the crowd and then sitting crisscross in the ring. It was such an
Yes.
electric moment, like even just seeing live or seeing like across the screen, I should say, like gave me goosebumps.
Oh, yeah. And that's what we all aim to have that response when we come out.
And I mean, now that he's back, is there like any, I mean, probably a dream match of yours might be against him, but who like now that he's in All Elite Wrestling, is there any certain people that you hope that he kind of gets to lock up with in there?
Well, not too sure. I haven't been watching a lot just because
You got a
my
busy
days
life.
throughout the week
Mhm.
is I don't get home till like nighttime and it's I just have a busy week. I try to catch up, so
It's fair. I will say I think it'd be cool if he maybe rekindled like that rivalry with Jeff Hardy. I mean, me
oh yeah.
personally, I would love to see that. There's a lot of possibilities. A lot of the Ring of Honor guys are in there now, but just seeing Punk like super happy and like thriving in professional wrestling is really a time to be alive right now.
Yeah, that's where he belongs.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm so happy to. I mean, you yourself too competed in amateur wrestling growing up as well. But what other sports did you compete in like maybe elementary, middle, or high school?
Elementary, I was actually into basketball. Surprise
Hey,
because I'm short. I'm 5'1".
you're only 5'1". I thought you were taller, to be honest with you.
No, I get that a lot, but no, I'm 5'1".
I
Very.
assumed you probably played a guard then in basketball.
Mm, I actually like shooting.
Okay,
I was a
fair,
shooter. But
fair. Go on.
I did that, and in middle school was when I got into amateur wrestling. And then later on in high school, I got into weightlifting. And then after high school, I got into powerlifting. And then, like, I had a lot of people come up to me. It's like, why don't you fight? And then so that's what got me into doing jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. So I do a lot.
You do. And so would you say that you're like a naturally competitive person then in that spirit?
Oh yeah, I love competition.
I know there's a lot of like MMA competitions and like powerlifting. Have you ever competed in any of those?
Powerlifting I have.
How have you placed?
I definitely so I was in a 114 weight class. This was back in 2017.
Mhm.
And at least for my age and weight class, I always go for first, especially for my bench, because I have a stronger upper body than a typical woman. So the last time I competed was back in October 2017 for USA Powerlifting in Kissimmee. And so I did a 155 in bench. I did a 180 in squat and a 265 in deadlift.
That seems really good to me. I mean, you have that competitive nature with you. You're definitely a lot stronger than a lot of people, I would say. And you, like we were talking about, you have a very busy life. I mean, you're also a mom besides wrestling and
Yes.
all of that stuff. So honestly, how do you balance your life between work, wrestling, training, social life, and all that stuff?
Oh man. So basically, like I do all my training morning to early afternoon while she's in school. And then I pick her up. I'm the one that takes her to school, picks her up from school, helps her with homework. And then the times I work, she stays with a family member of mine. So like it's not a lot of time I get to really spend time with her, but I try to spend time as much as I can, work around my schedule, which is exhausting, but I make it work.
I bet. So, I mean, what do you even do in those free moments? Probably just sleep, I would assume.
Yeah, eat and sleep.
Pretty much. If you were like, I feel like, especially within the world of like professional wrestling and everything you do, I feel like you're allowed like a cheat meal or a cheat snack every once in a while. So, what for
Usually on the
you?
weekends.
Okay, then what do you snack on the weekends then, Persia?
Any food I see, especially Oreos. If someone has some Oreos, I'm a snatch.
Now, there's a lot of like new Oreos coming out, like all different flavors and all of that. Or are you like a OG Oreo? Or like what is your favorite flavor or type of Oreo, I guess?
I like to go for double stuffed chocolate.
That's a good one too. You know what though, too? The mega stuff though, I feel like is too much. Like cream in the middle, double stuff is like just perfect.
Yes.
I don't know if you've
Because like
tried the
Eggo Oreos is not enough cream. So double stuff is just right. It's
it's perfect.
perfection.
It really is. And honestly, sometimes I eat a whole row in like one sitting. It's really bad
Oh, I
sometimes.
can do that too. I try to not to eat the whole pack.
It's really hard. It's like the same thing with chips for me too. Like you can eat a whole thing of like, the can of Pringles. I can eat those in like a whole
Yes.
sitting.
It's like me with Doritos. I love nacho flavor Doritos. So
You are talking right up my alley. I love the nacho cheese one. Not really a fan of the ranch, the cool ranch, but
it's okay.
the nacho cheese one is my favorite.
Yes.
And I feel like too a lot important with your in-ring prowess is your ring gear too, which I love by the way. So maybe what are some of your like inspirations going into your ring gear? How did you kind of craft this vision of it?
Well, it's so I'm actually trying to work on new ring gear. I'm
Okay.
trying to work more on my heritage because I'm Dutch.
Yes.
So I'm trying to go for like orange, white, black. I'm still trying to figure out the whole design of it, but I'm trying to represent more of my country.
I
So
like that a lot too. I feel like traditionally we see you in a lot of black too. So I feel like
my favorite color.
I mean, same, a lot of my wardrobe is that too. I feel like it'd be a cool like pop of color in there for you.
Yeah. I normally don't wear bright colors, but this is an exception.
Exactly. It's all about evolution and evolving and
Right.
being open to new things too. But I mean, along those same lines, from your perspective, like who do you think has the best ring gear game or aesthetic in pro wrestling today? Like whose gear do you really admire? Because I feel like it's one of those underappreciated elements in this whole sport.
That's a good one because there's so many.
It really is.
Thunder Rosa, any gear she comes out with, I definitely love. Um, Trying to think, um, like Sasha Banks, all that. Which my daughter loves her just because of her gear.
Her gear is impeccable. I will say I think Sasha Banks, I love asking this question. So Sasha Banks's name has been said the most times in correlation to this question. Like she has the cool strap, she has like her whole structure down, and she can rock any color. It's just like gear game on point, honestly, for Sasha Banks.
All right.
And I mean, I just think that it's so cool. I just love like appreciating ring gear. I feel like it's like like I said, underappreciated element of everybody's character because it's what people see. It's like part of your look and everything.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I mean, looking towards the future for you now, what are some of your personal or professional goals you'd like to accomplish?
Definitely go wrestle out of the country, like Australia, New England, even Canada, because I love to travel. I already traveled to some states, even Puerto Rico, definitely. I like to have new challenges to face people I haven't faced before.
And I mean, you like we said, kind of correlates with you being a competitive person. I feel like challenging in the ring too and everything. And to
Oh,
close
yes.
Of course, and to close things out, we are all about hashtag girl power here on a wrestling gal. So is there any female in your personal or professional life that inspires or empowers you the most, you think?
Um, One of them has to be Janai Kai, because like I've met her once, and this was like 3 years ago. But to see the growth, and she is doing fantastic. Like she's not afraid of nobody, you know. Like I like that attitude that she has in that ring, because she goes at it. So she's one of them. Uh, Genocide, uh, definitely for sure.
I love genocide.
So just so many females out there. Like we all inspire all these little girls, even just older women. And I love like I seen a picture of like kids having the same like face paint as Genocide, and I find that really cool.
It is, because I mean, like, whether you think about it or not, you have, like, a platform, I mean, character based or not, whether you're face or heel, there's still an audience where people are looking up to you and, like,
Oh yeah.
admiring you and, like, how you present yourself and your character or even, like, real life and all of that. I think it's just, like, one of those things that is so special about pro wrestling.
Oh yeah. We don't even think about it. Like we're always in that moment, and you just get that little girl that wants the autograph or a picture taken with you.
And I mean, you really are on a platform to where you can inspire others. And I mean, I feel like for you with your background and everything, it's really cool to see that translated over to pro wrestling and you yourself or a young mom and all of that. And being able to be a badass in the ring and juggle all of this, I think is really, really cool and special.
I appreciate it.
And of course, before I let you go, can you please tell the listeners where they can find you on all your social medias?
Man, I have so much. I have Facebook, Persia Pierce, Instagram, Persia Pierce, Twitter, Crazy Kelsey, but you'll see in parentheses Persia Pierce. So you can find me on three of them. You can just look me up, Persia Pierce, on YouTube too. I got some matches up there.
You do. There's a lot of cool ones up there. And Persia, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me on here.